He raised his glass toward me, eyes sharp and gleaming under the string lights. To the loser paying for our future. Laughter, real, ugly laughter. It rippled across the room like spilled liquor. And she was laughing too, my wife. Not nervously, not out of shock. It was the kind of laugh that comes from someone who thinks they're untouchable. I didn't react. Not there. Not in front of their champagne-stained smiles and hollow cheer. I placed my drink on the table, smiled once, and left. The winter air outside bit at my face as I walked to the car. I didn't feel it. I didn't feel anything. The music from the party followed me faintly, muffled, like a dying echo of the life I thought I had. In that moment, everything clicked. The late nights, the inside jokes, the way she always said, "He's just like a brother." Brothers don't toast another man's humiliation. I drove home in silence. The first thing I did when I got home was open my laptop. No rage, no shouting, just precision. Their company had been courting mine for months, a merger I'd spent a year negotiating. I knew every number, every clause, every dependency. They thought I was too emotionally naive to see what was happening behind the scenes. They forgot I built my career by keeping my emotions out of business. And now, business was all that mattered. Her phone buzzed twice that night. I didn't touch it. Didn't need to. I already knew who it was. I lay awake beside her, staring at the ceiling while she slept. Peaceful, unburdened, unaware that everything she had built her secret world on was already cracking. I'd given her everything. Stability, freedom, the life she said she always wanted, and she spent it on a man who couldn't buy his own drink. For the next 2 days, I played the part. The quiet husband, the calm professional, the one who doesn't make a scene. I met with my legal team under the pretense of restructuring. We pulled every thread of that merger apart, slowly, strategically, without drawing attention. I moved my shares, canceled upcoming contracts, rewrote clauses that would leave their side exposed, financially, legally, and publicly. They thought the deal was still moving forward. I let them. At home, she kept pretending too, smiling at breakfast, sending him messages while she thought I wasn't looking. Once, she looked at me differently, hesitant, maybe sensing a shift. But I smiled back, warm, familiar, the way I used to. That's the thing about betrayal. When you know it's happening, you start seeing everything through glass. Every word, every touch, every breath, it's all surface. You stop hearing love. You start hearing lies. By the end of the week, everything was ready. The night before the deal was meant to close, I got a call from her boss, his CEO. He was concerned. My team had gone silent. Their numbers weren't adding up. He wanted reassurance. I gave him the opposite. "I'd advise you to check who your employee has been doing business with lately," I said. There was a pause, confusion, then realization. I didn't have to say more. The next morning, their boardroom imploded. My lawyers pulled out of the merger 15 minutes before signatures. Millions evaporated. And by noon, his career was over. I didn't need to see it, but I imagined the scene anyway. Her phone lighting up with missed calls, her hands shaking, the pieces finally falling. At 1:47 p.m., she called me. I let it ring. At 2:03, she texted, "We need to talk." I replied, "Talk to your boss." I got home early that evening. She was waiting in the kitchen, eyes red, makeup smudged. "What did you do?" she whispered. I poured a drink, calm. "Nothing you didn't start." She stepped closer, voice cracking. "You ruined him." I turned to her, meeting her eyes for the first time in days. No, he ruined himself. I just made sure everyone saw it. Her lip trembled. "They fired me too." I nodded once. "Good." She tried to reach for me. "You can't just walk away like this." I smiled. I already did. And I left. It's been 6 months. She sent me one last message a while back. Something about regret. About missing who I used to be. I didn't respond. That man's gone. I still see her name sometimes, in articles about scandal, whispers in corporate circles, but I don't feel anything anymore. When I think back to that Christmas party, I remember the sound of their laughter, the moment they thought they'd won. That was the last time I ever cared about being the fool in someone else's story. Because the truth is, I was never the loser. I was the lesson.